Bustin' mad like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a garden and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sight like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion. And today, we're going to do a bit of a follow-up to the plot twist of Boruto Chapter 70 with a discussion on where we go from here now that Code's limiter has been removed, as well as the drawbacks that Code's going to have from having full limiters off. So as we all know, once Amado removed Code's limiters, it powered him up to a level of strength that exceeds Jigen in combat power, but how greatly he exceeds Jigen, we don't actually know. Did his combat power exceed Jigen to the point where he's now in the same ballpark as Ishiki, which, if you're like me, then you're highly skeptical that he's reached Ishiki levels of power. However, now that we have Code in his new transformation, it's time for us to look at why Code getting his limiters removed is gonna be his undoing. Naruto as a franchise has hammered home the concept that every jutsu, every transformation has some sort of weakness or drawback to it. Code without his limiters is a scary sight, but one of my patrons made a really good point when I spoke to them, which is that Code without his limiters might run into the same issues that Jigen did when he tried to fully utilize the power of his karma. The reason being is that Code's body didn't fully take on the karma seal because it rejected the Otsutsuki genetics and became a hollow karma that was packed with only Otsutsuki power but none of the genetic makeup, making it impossible for Ishiki to resurrect into him. While Jigen might have been an imperfect vessel, his body was still that of an Otsutsuki genetically because the karma fully extracted, just like Boruto right now through a different method is currently 100% Otsutsuki genetically. The possibility that since Code doesn't have the genetics of an Otsutsuki inside of him due to his karma being white and weaponized only, there will be some sort of drawback when he fully taps into the power of karma. For Jigen, the reason why he was an imperfect vessel was because his body would begin to break down if he used too much of Ishiki's chakra for too long of a period of time, which we saw when he fought against Naruto and Sasuke. Instead of ending the battle right away, which he could have, he toyed around with them, especially in the anime version, which is something that he later scolded himself for while Amado was treating his body. With Code, we've seen the nature of him playing around in battle, not taking things 100% seriously until things get too dicey for him, and we've seen how quickly Code shifts once this happens. By being a recipient of a white karma seal that can only be used for the power of karma but not reap any of the genetic benefits of being an Otsutsuki, it opens up the possibility that Code himself runs a similar risk as Jigen, where the ninja tech inside of his body couldn't prevent the damage done to him from using his power. After all, some would say there is some foreshadowing here. The line of Ishiki telling Code to upgrade his body genetically by consuming chakra fruits. My patron thinks that there's a chance that Ishiki told him this both to try and carry out the will of Otsutsuki, but also to prepare Code's body to fully utilize karma to its maximum extent without fear of a breakdown like Jigen suffered. Look, it'd be one hell of a clever plot twist if that happened, a price for using this enormous power, but I'm going to take this a lot further here and explain the dangers of both the karma on Code's body as well as the ninja tech that's been unleashed inside of his body, and why it's too dangerous for any human to bear and why this is going to backfire on Code. So looking at the ninja tech, what we know is that Code's body, like the other car inner members, was mechanically altered by Amado's ninja tech. The ninja tech boosted all the physical stats and the chakra levels. It gave them an enormous power amp, which is why I've been comparing the car inner members to Dragon Ball for the last few years, because Dr. Gero, which, side note, I'm saying the name correctly, but Dr. Gero did something very similar when he stopped making androids, which are fully robotic beings, and he started experimenting on humans like 17 and 18, as well as himself, to mechanically enhance their bodies with science while keeping their humanity intact. Amado pretty much did the same thing with this ninja tech. When we were first introduced to Kawaki and Garo in the anime version of the story in episode 188, we saw the twisted labors of Amato in full effect. Gero's body was shown with modifications physically, in particular when it comes to his arms, and he stated very pissed off that he and Kawaki went through the same procedures where countless people died during the process because they didn't take to that ninja tech, and he was very pissed off that Kawaki went through the procedure without any physical augmentations that were visible. In the case of Gero, his body didn't fully take to the procedure and he lost his arms in the process and they had to be replaced. In Boruto episode 217, when Kawaki has Jigen's ghost taunting him, he has a PTSD flashback of Amato performing the surgery on his body. The reason why this is so important is that Amato is shown injecting a syringe into his body during the operation. Amato's ninja tech is nanotechnology that was placed into the bloodstream and it spreads throughout the body. It's why Kawaki and the other car members have self-healing abilities to varying degrees. However, what's important here is that the ninja tech is part of what makes them so powerful, and this is extremely likely due to the way that chakra functions inside of the body. Every cell inside the body in the Naruto world is connected to the chakra pathway system that draws on the physical energy that's stored inside of the cell. The ninja tech that Amato used is a highly advanced nanotechnology that not even Konoha can compete with. That nanotech likely resulted in a boost to the physical energy that makes up one half of a person's chakra, with the other half being the spiritual energy, which led to those extreme boosts in chakra levels. And given how much Amato's cyborgs are inspired by Dr. Gero's cyborgs, this isn't that crazy, since when Dr. Gero altered the human bodies of 17 and 18, it led to them possessing an infinite amount of ki that never runs out because their bodies were altered with science that would work in a similar way as Amato's. When we see Code without his limiters, the effect on his body was enough that his body physically changed, and you can tell he got a surge in new chakra as well. We saw a physical change, likely due to the ninja tech in his body releasing the limiters on his power, on top of the power that the Karma Seal gave him as well. Code's physical transformation is a byproduct of something that isn't too different from what Hiro Mashima does in Eden Zero when it comes to Ether Gear, which Eden Zero is a sci-fi manga I'm going to start covering on my Kryptonian Saiyan channel that utilizes science in ways that Boruto's only begun to scratch the surface of. But the point being is that there's a connection between all three here: his physical transformation, his karma, and his ninja tech. But that brings us back to the dangers of bestowing this much power to the human body. So there's a difference between somebody like Code, who went from being a normal human being to being given a weaponized karma and then having his body enhanced with ninja tech, which the combo of which made him so powerful that he volunteered to have his power limited instead of being set up for destruction like Ada and Damon were originally supposed to. It's power that isn't natural for a human to gain that quickly. The body hasn't had time to adapt over the years to naturally accommodate such a power increase. Whereas you have shinobi, where they train their bodies daily to raise their chakra levels and refine the power that they earn over time. They physically train to beef up the physical side of their chakra. They meditate, they study, they strengthen their spirits and their emotions, i.e. their will of fire, to raise their spiritual side of the chakra. It's why shinobi, who we saw train their bodies up to baby demigod status like Alive Minato, Sage Mode Kabuto, the even more mythical and controversial Healthy Itachi. That's why those characters are so special, because of everything they went through. It's why demigods like EMS Final Valley Madara and Sage Mode Hashirama are so special. While they had the chakra Ashra and Indra, they still worked to hone and refine that power. To say otherwise is to discredit the work that they put in. A shinobi endures, and it's through that endurance that they're able to wield such power. However, in the case of Code, if his body does experience some drawbacks to using that power, whether it be his body breaking down or overheating like we saw with Delta, or there be a physical drawback to using too much power at once, I'm not going to be shocked, to be honest with you. That being said, the question for you guys is, where do you guys fall on this conversation? Do you guys think that Code will have any drawbacks to using this much power? Also, if you want to learn more about Amato's ninja tech and the rise of ninja tech in the Naruto series, which began under Kakashi's Hokage, you'll want to check out these videos that you see on the screen right now.